Holy shit. It's like that wah crazy sound. I mean, I've said that too many times, Zoe, but that was incredible. Holy shit. Kia ora and welcome. My name's Zoe Stevie and I'm your vocal coach for today. We have the absolute pleasure in taking a look at Lady Gaga's Grammy performance and seeing what she's up to with her vocal technique and how you can create these types of sounds at home. Let's just get straight to it. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. Love this song.
In the clouds, keep your mind on the distance when the devil turns around.
Lady Gaga's amazing because every single time she's sung this, and we've had a look at it a couple of times on the channel, she changes her sound and she changes kind of like everything about it. I feel like even the feel of the song, and this is so much like dancey. So we've got this pay the toll to the deaf angels. We've got a thicker vocal fold sound. I almost think that she's pressing the vocal folds a little bit more together in order to kind of create that sense of urgency in the sound.
Pay the toll to the angels, drawing circles in the clouds. Keep your mind on the distance.
Can you hear that? Keep your mind on the distance. So that can be created by two different ways. That can be created two different ways. What's going on, Zoe? We can create it by either using a bit of the other throat muscles to constrict the sound by kind of like making the whole thing smaller, or we can create that by pressing the vocal folds a little bit more together. I mean, both of them are completely viable and they sound fantastic.
Oh, keep your mind on the distance when the devil turns around.
Even through her fantastic headpiece, you can see that the lips are from nigh on the devil when the dust turns around. I love this song, and yes, I always forget the lyrics. I'm so sorry. Okay, but this rounding of the lips, I don't know what I'm doing. The lyrics are just like. So the rounding of the lips there is going to darken the sound. Then the devil comes around. Because we're elongating the vocal tract from the end of the lips down to the vocal folds. So lips coming forward is going to darken the sound, and spread lips is going to brighten the sound.
When the devil turns around, hold me in your heart tonight, the magic of the dark moonlight.
I feel like she's playing like a really great, hold me in your dark night. She's creating that almost put on accent there for her character. And we've got to take me to, that's really hard to do on that vowel with that closed throat position and a lower tongue in order to create that take me to. It's almost like a bit of a fake opera sound almost. Can you see that? Save me from. We had a slightly more spread lip. Save me from. And it wasn't such a constricted sound. I love the way that she changes these things around. Probably, I mean, look, I think with Lady Gaga, everything is very thoroughly thought through, but she didn't need to make that darker sound on that particular vowel.
It's time to cast your spell on the night. Abracadabra,
Oh God, is she not just incredible? Holy shit. I like, for want of a better word, I want to say that she's really talented. She's incredibly talented, but I know that she works really hard to be this talented and practices a lot. I love that, like a poem said by a lady in red. We've got a slightly wider mouth position there, but we're still very much in a chest voice quality. I'm loving this sort of like almost Cruella de Vil accent that she's got going on.
Last few words of your life.
That just makes me think of those last few words of your life. A very posh person.
With a haunting dance, now you're both in a trance. It's time to cast your spell on the night.
Huge mistake that people make when they're singing this cast the spell on the night. When they're singing this song is relatively low within the female vocal range. So we must practice getting the larynx low. The larynx is here where the vocal folds live. And when we practice getting it low by doing like a ha 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 ha, you can feel that it goes down. Ha 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 ha. You can even see that mine goes down. We must practice releasing the muscles, but we also need to stretch the muscles that lift the larynx, which are above the larynx. When we stretch them, it gives us greater mobility for that lower part of the range.
Abracadabra, I'm a ooh na na. Abracadabra, oh na ooh Gaga. Abracadabra, I'm a ooh na na. In a tongue she said,
Wow. So we've got there less constriction in the upper register. Abracadabra, oh na na. Because it's higher, it's automatically more exciting to our ears. And we don't have to constrict quite as much. See, common mistake that singers make when they're singing these types of songs is they just layer on constriction through the whole thing and wonder why they're getting really sore throats. It's about using it at the right time. And that way, when we're just coloring those particular phrases or particular words, we kind of like trick the listener's ears into thinking that it's happening more often than it really is. Death on love tonight. So we've got a constricted sound there. Now, constricted can be made a couple of different ways. We can create constriction by actually using the false vocal folds, which live above the true vocal folds, with a sort of sound as if almost you're getting up from a chair and you're struggling to get out of it. But we automatically start to engage other muscles within the throat as well. So we're making sure that we're not scratching, catching, or coughing when we are trying these types of things. But I want you to think about that you're having a really bad day and you're thinking, you're calling someone at work and you're going, I can't come in today. I'm really sick. Now, constriction does come with a few caveats. I want you to be really careful with what's going on here within the throat. We don't want to be pushing air and we don't want to be coughing at all. You won't actually feel, if you feel pain, you've gone way too far, but you won't really feel pain here within the vocal folds. You're going to notice yourself coughing or clearing your throat more. So watch out for your voice, please. She's just such a fantastic, I mean, I've said that too many times, Zoe, but she's just such a wonderful actress, but also feel the beat under your feet, the world's on fire. It's like that, wah, crazy sounds. Now, these sorts of sounds are only created if you actually go away and fucking experiment with your voice. So I want you to go away, mimic Lady Gaga, mimic all these fantastic artists. And in the end, I want you to try and find out, do I like that? Do I not like that? And if you like it, then put it into your music more often. But it's about cross-training your voice, singing lots and lots of different styles and kind of taking the bits that you enjoy from all of them.
Choose a road on the west side as the dust flies. Watch it burn. Go with time on a feeling. Use your passion. No return. Hold me.
Can you hear there? Where the passion, no return. It's almost like a strident kind of, we would probably call this in like vocal coach circles, singing teacher circles, like a strident tenor kind of sound. Because we've got the little bit of constriction going on at the back of the throat, and probably a little bit of tongue tension going on there as well at the root of the tongue in order to make that sound sort of seem meatier. Now, tensing the tongue is something that a lot of different styles do. It's also used in a lot of pop styles and rock as well in order to create that kind of, well, that meatier sound. I don't really need to repeat myself, do I? But it needs to be looked at like on a really case-to-case basis, because it's about strengthening the tongue, but not sort of like causing yourself to feel like you're suffocating every time you're going to sing these sorts of things. So if you are looking to like create a fuller sound within your voice, then you can apply for singing lessons down in the description below, because there's lots of different ways to create a fuller sound. The tongue is one of them. But she's got that watch it burn, lots of thyroid tilt.
On the west side, as the dust flies, watch it burn. Going up.
You can't be afraid to play like really overdo this. When the dust flies, watch it burn. Can't be afraid to play around with those sounds when you're singing this song, okay? Because if you do, it'll just sound like a really shit cover version.
On a feeling, use the passion, no return.
There's a full-on like operatic tenor sound. Lots of passion, let it burn. We've got lots and lots of thyroid tilt with quite a lot of vibrato shoved through there, and a little bit of that tightening as well in order to create that brightness in the sound. Ah, beautiful. Do you notice though that the sound got slightly brighter? Yeah? Abracadabra, na. We're in probably a chest voice sound taken further up in the range. So we've got thicker vocal folds. The larynx has gone higher. We've got a forward tongue position. And there's not a lot of constriction going in there anymore. But she is changing those vowels with this accent that she's putting on. I mean, goodness me, how is she singing in that corset? But we saw there a slightly lowered belly breath. Now she is, in that higher chest voice register for a large portion of the song. And sometimes we need to just release those abdominal muscles in order to allow the whole mechanism to relax so that we can continue singing. It's not about belly breathing though throughout this entire song. It's about using choice moments in order to relax the mechanism, because we can't just sing with it in that tightened position the whole time. Wow. Listen to the way that she just went from a full-on movement section. I know that she's either just finished her world tour or she's in the middle of her world tour. It's incredible. She's well in the condition to be able to perform these things. But like that type of movement is using a lot of air. And then when you try to hold that air back in order to sing without the movement, even singing with the movement, that's really challenging. But it is easier on a thicker vocal fold, which is what she's doing now. I feel like, I can't see her mouth in this position. So we're just going to go back on that because I need to listen to that sound a little bit more. Even that tattoo. I'm assuming she's saying tattoo. Tattoo me. Higher tongue position, thicker vocal folds. But we've got that tattoo with the lower larynx position, lower tongue position. And then she yanks it all up for the me. This takes precision practice. This doesn't just happen overnight. But I feel like if you're here watching my channel, you already know that. But if you want to learn like more things about singing, then hit the subscribe button because I go very in depth. She's in a proper rock belt. Sing for me, my faithful. I'm really making up the words at this point, yeah? So when we're talking about belt in comparison to a thicker vocal fold, belt is with like thicker than thick vocal folds because we are actually tilting the cricoid under. The cricoid is the, you can't see my cricoid, but we've got the thyroid above and the cricoid is below. And what happens is when it tilts backwards, the vocal folds get thicker than thick, and that's what creates that extra loud sound. It's not yelling on pitch because you can hear there it's actually quite a restrained sound and almost with a smaller mouth position. This is why we would call it more of a rock belt because it's not that full whoa that, like, for example, Lola was doing. Is that this isn't just like music anymore. Okay, this is like, well, as she says, it's her craft. This is art. This is like a performance. It's like it's a musical performance, but like it's almost like a full, like a show, you know, in terms of, you know, The Great Gatsby is a full musical. This is like a full musical that we're being taken through. Wow. So we had a definite classical sound going on there. Let's go back on that. See how you're going to create that one. So we've got melody. She's going from that belt sound into this one. Okay, so there is a reason why why that sounds sort of a little bit woofy, and you can hear that it's doubled as well on the background. So again, not poo-pooing Lady Gaga, it's just that in that part of the voice with that amount of tilt and that amount of thin vocal folds, when we're in that more operatic sound. Why does it sound operatic? Because we've got longer vowels and we've got a substantial amount of vibrato going through the sound. But that and that pitch is a little bit weak in every female voice, yeah? Can you see that though? They go, we heard that suddenly the sound kind of opened up a little bit because that, like, so yeah, usually my preference is to allow the sopranos or even allow myself to thicken up the vocal folds a little bit in that lower part of the register. But again, that is very dependent on the musical director or your own like musical tastes. But when we're up here, we have the benefit of the larynx going higher. And as the larynx goes higher, the vocal folds stretch. When we're up there, because of that height of the larynx, the whole apparatus gets a little bit smaller. And it's actually, like I said at the beginning, right? We're going to talk about space. Space is the enemy of these higher notes, okay? We're talking like millimeters of space that we actually need. It's the perception of the engagement of those muscles and not about actual creating space. You can see that, ooh, she's got quite a closed mouth actually. That's fucking hard to do in the middle of a big belt. But you saw that the mouth was quite close. This because in classical singing, all of the resonance happens out here, whereas in pop and rock singing, most of the resonance occurs here in the front part of the mouth. So that We've got a lowered larynx position, and we have a, I mean, look, excuse me, my vibrato is like wild, but I'm trying to sort of emulate Lady Gaga's sound right there. She does have a substantial vibrato in that part of the range. Well, in this vocal style that she's using. But we've got the middle part of the tongue is going down, but the back part of the tongue is still high. We just have a lowered larynx in order to create that darkening of the sound. So we've gone into a relatively unmodified, so abracadabra, na. She's speaking on pitch right up there. That's still the chest voice for Lady Gaga. I know it's hard to believe that is still chest voice, but really once you find these parts of your voice, it becomes very easy to move them around your range, much like singing belt super high. Okay, so that is really about maintaining learning how to create the chest voice or the thicker vocal folds lower in the range. And that's why I have a freebie for you down in the description below, because you need to get it lower in the range, because like a whole bunch of factors come into play when we start going too high, not too high, but higher. Wow. That was incredible. Holy shit. I just feel I've got to go and rewatch that again, because I feel like I just scratched the surface on like what I'm looking at there. Lady Gaga, I know I don't need to tell you, because if you've made it this far, you are a fan and you know that she just creates these worlds for us to enjoy. And she's just, wow. I was almost thinking like, why didn't Lady Gaga play Glinda? She would have been so good at it. And then I'm like, no. Ariana Grande did a really, really good job. I just love that classical singing. I just loved it. And immediately like Glinda popped in my head. Who would have watched that if like Lady Gaga had been Glinda? Would you have watched that? I sure as shit would have, because I know that she could play any role on this planet. Oh my goodness me. I'm just speechless. I'm really, really speechless. I'm going to just shut up. Check out some more Abracadabra up here, because we have looked at it here before on the channel. It's a very different performance though. If you are interested in becoming a better singer this year, and you really want someone like me to show you the way how to become that singer through the things that we're talking about in this video, there are step-by-step ways in which you can create those sounds. And so I take you through each of those steps in order to achieve the sound that you want to create. It's not about what I want, it's about what you want as an artist and as a singer. And I'm here to show you how you can build up your voice through structured vocal lessons, masterclasses, and really structured vocal exercises, because there's a lot of shit out there on the internet from people who have no idea about how to actually build the voice, and that is what I'm going to teach you how to do. No more like just wasting your time singing any old jam. You can apply down in the description below. I would love to meet you for a discovery call. Have an awesome rest of your day. Just remember, you're amazing. Anyone can learn to sing. Ka kite anō.